Hello, family members. Hope you're having a nice day today. I want to tell you about my brother and why I'm dying to see him, but I don't know if it's safe for that to happen right now. And I don't like to think that, but it seems more and more like something that my family is going to have to consider. So let's kind of give you a little background. I have a second family. And it, like my family and this other family, we've become close enough that, my second mother considers me her kid, and my mom considers, her, Leroy, my second brother, her kid. We became very close. They're from Zimbabwe, and when I was in elementary school, they moved to our town so that their dad, Obert, could go to college at the local college. And during that time, my brother just sort of became one of them and then kind of pulled us all along for the ride somehow. And Leroy, the oldest son in their family, the Makawatsinis, became absolute best friends with my brother. And after they went back to Africa, we would send them like care packages with spices, I remember was a big thing. And it was decided that Leroy would come and stay with us, sort of like an exchange student thing, but not really, for a year. And so when I was in high school and my little brothers were in middle school, like seventh, eighth graders, he was with us for a whole year. And I just think about how funny it is. My mom, like, taking the three of us around like little ducklings. And these two white kids and this one very black kid. Because they have dark skin. They're African. People definitely gave us some looks, But, she didn't care. My mom took us everywhere. She took us down to Florida, took us up to Alex Bay, New York, and even like Canada, Toronto. I mean, like, I can't believe it. All the places she dragged that kid in the space of a year. And it was great. I loved that. And when he left, I knew it would probably be a very long time before I saw him again. But I didn't know how long. I was, let's see here, probably right around 15 the last time that I got to see him before, he left and went back to Africa again, went back to Zimbabwe. The next time that I saw him was in England in I want to say 2012, 2013, somewhere in there. And it was like, probably like 97, the last time that I saw him, somewhere in there. Like, it was a long time. But we kept in touch. And we got to see like various members of their family when they were in America. But, we didn't really travel out of the country that much. And the next time I got to see Leroy was when I went to London. The first time I had ever left North America. And it was great. We had a wonderful time, and we went back a couple of years later. And then we fully expected the next time they would come to see us. Leroy and his partner wanted to get married in America because her family had always vacationed in Florida and Kissimmee, which is funny to me because we say Kissimmee around here, but they do not say that. And when they wanted to come, they had they had bought tickets, they had everything. We were so excited we were going to get to see him. And then he was denied entry. This was prior to 2020. This was prior to the pandemic. And when that happened, his would-be sister-in-law and brother-in-law had already bought tickets for themselves and their daughter, and so they ended up coming anyway without them. So I went to go see them, but I didn't get to see my brother because of arbitrary immigration laws. Like, they thought that if they let him in on a visitor visa, he'd overstay the visa and never leave America or whatever. He has a full-time, good job in the UK. He's marrying a British woman who has all of her extended family there. His brother lives there. His father lives there. His other brother's there sometimes. You never really know. They're kind of a globe-trotty family at this point, but it was just absurd. The idea that they wouldn't let the man just come and have a vacation here. And so with that plan canceled, we just were like, well, we'll have to figure something else out. And of course, then the pandemic happened, and then everything else that's happened with me and my brother having his family and kids and all that. I still haven't seen my brother since that last time, like 2016, I think, maybe. It's going to be like almost a decade. And he's supposed to come this August. They've already, started making plans, and my mom and my brother and sister-in-law have already started making plans, and everybody's gonna try to be here at the same time in Florida so that we can all see each other. And I'm not sure they should come. I don't know how I feel about my brother, my dark-skinned brother with a strong foreign accent coming to this country right now. It's not the first time that I've had very serious misgivings about the relationship between my second family and this country. After my brother came and stayed with us, a couple of years later, we wanted to have my little sister come and stay. I had just gone off to college, so there was a spare bedroom. Mom had it all set up so that the school was expecting her. Everything. We had everything ready for her to come and spend a year like a regular exchange student. And she was denied entry into the United States. She was like 12. I don't know. It's so bizarre to me, This is not a new problem where people who are from what are considered third world countries are just treated so disrespectfully by the United States. Like, why wouldn't you let a 12-year-old girl come and stay as an exchange student with a family that is ready and willing to take her, and a community that would be happy to have her? What national interest does that serve? What national interest did it serve for my brother to be denied the ability to come here and get married? By the way, I don't think they've ever gotten legally married. They've been living in sin all this time because of the U.S. government. Jeez. I don't know. I mean, I still remember the very first time that I saw them. I was in my school. I'd like gone to the bathroom during class, and there's a real long hallway, and they were down at one end of the hallway at the where like the office was. I guess they were registering the boys to go to school, and it was just these two parents and these two kids, and then the little girl being held by her dad. Just a normal family, except that they had a skin color I'd never seen before, you know? I still remember that all these years later. Now, obviously, part of it is because I went on to sort of become part of that family. You know, the last time I got to see my second mother, we were in New York, and we were at some diner, and she came up behind me, and I was trying to sneak off and pay secretly, and she was not going to have that. And so she comes up behind me and she's like, "Oh, my baby, you can't pay, blah, blah." And the cashier just looks so perplexed at this woman coming up behind me who, clearly did not look very much like me at all, claiming me for her as her child. And it just made me sad. Like, that was New York City. That was literally Manhattan. That's supposed to be like one of the most multicultural places in the entire country. And still, the idea of a dark-skinned woman saying that she had a light-skinned child just like completely perplexed this guy. What? Why is it that shocking, But I guess it was. I don't know. I mean, that's really how all of my interactions with my second family in person have been in a long time. It's just these fleeting moments where people seem to be very perplexed by us. Oh my gosh. We went to Wales as a family, like in 2016. That's what we did. We went like all rented a house near the beach in Wales. Don't think of beaches in Wales as being like beaches in Florida, by the way. Like we were all wearing like coats and stuff, even though it was summertime. But like, I don't know. It's amazing to me to think back on those fleeting moments and how wonderful they are. And I want so much to have that again. I want to get to show them some of my turf here, I've gotten to see some of their turf, but they haven't gotten to see mine. The last time I was here with Leroy, we were both kids, teenagers. And I hadn't lived here as an adult yet. And so, yeah, but I can't ignore the fact that it would be so easy for him to be mistaken for something scary. And when a judge can say this is illegal and the executive branch just ignores them, when people have been arrested just for things they said or for being at protests, when unmarked government agents who refuse to give their name or any identifying information are just snatching people off the streets and won't back down even when they are confronted. In fact, will like beat up people. I've read accounts of people saying that they got roughed up when they tried to intervene when somebody was being snatched. I don't know that it matters whether or not if he's here legally and does all the right things. And so I don't know if I can reasonably want him to be here. I hate to say that, but it's true. I have quite a few friends that don't live in this country. Some that were born here and have moved out away, and some that were born elsewhere. And, maybe came to school here. That's how I met some of my international friends. Or came here for work or whatever, Every single one of them, I'm terrified for the idea of them being in this country right now. Anyone with dark skin and an accent, I think, is at serious risk of being mistaken for somebody dangerous, a gang member or drug smuggler or whatever they decide they want to say. And that's dangerous. Is democracy over? Is the United States over? Are we done? Is that what's going on here? If our very fundamental constitutional rights are suddenly debatable, what's the point? We're going to ruin our reputation as a nation. And I don't think people understand how much of our economy is based on tourism from other nations, especially here in Florida, or our national parks. But I can tell you, I don't think if I were planning a vacation this summer or this upcoming year and I live somewhere other than the United States, I wouldn't want a vacation anywhere in the United States. It just seems a little too unstable. I think about when I would go traveling internationally, think about what countries I felt comfortable going to. I probably wouldn't have felt very comfortable going to a country that seemed as unstable as the United States seems right now. And that's the thing we have to remember is even if it doesn't feel that unstable to you personally, this is the narrative that people are hearing around the world. Like, they're seeing what's happening and they aren't inclined to ignore it. I mean, not for nothing, but I think, a lot of people kind of want the U.S. to stumble and fall a little. A lot of people around the world feels like this country has kind of bullied other countries into doing what we want instead of what they want, and what's in our interest instead of what's in their interest. And I don't think that they really are too upset at the idea of seeing us stumble and fall. So we don't need to give them all this ammunition, people. Come on. But maybe it's too late. I mean, I know there's been a lot of us out here screaming at the top of our lungs, metaphorically, that fascism is rising and human rights are being degraded, and when one person's rights are being degraded, then everybody's at risk. And I remember people saying in the run-up to Trump being elected, if he gets elected, Roe v. Wade will be overturned, and people were like, nah, that's not gonna happen. It did. We were right. He didn't listen to us. Not necessarily you personally, but you figuratively. And so it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like if you had your doctors kept telling you, you have cancer, but you wouldn't listen to them. And you wouldn't listen to them. You know, I feel fine. I don't have cancer. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a tumor, it's growing, and we can take care of it now and save your life. No, I feel fine. I feel fine. And then when the tumor metastasizes and the person starts feeling really, really sick, they're like, oh no, I need to treat my cancer. But it's too late. It's already spread. It's too deeply ingrained. You can do all of the treatment you want now, but it's too late because you didn't take action when you first were warned. And I wonder if that's where we are. I wonder if there's a coming back from this. And I'm wondering if my country is truly safe for my little brother to come and see me. For his sister, who has spent most of her adult life in this country, to continue living in. And she's a legal citizen, but and their mother was here. And the youngest brother, who was born after they went back to Africa, and then one of the other times that they were in the United States, he was actually born here. You know, he's the birthright citizen. But is he safe here? I don't know. His name is Liberty, my littlest brother. Born in the United States and named Liberty because they believed that he would have freedoms and rights because of his citizenship. Donald Trump does not like birthright citizenship, does he? A lot of people don't. Liberty is an American, you know? I've seen their family struggle because they have an American dream and only certain family members have been able to gain entry. Unsurprisingly, it seems like the female ones. And, you know, so my second mom and my second dad have not been in the same physical location most of the last 30 years or something. You know, trying to find a way to support their family, trying to get their family here. And the only ones that really ended up settling here are my mama Marilyn and her daughter Lindsay. Because in the time that, you know, Leroy was trying to get into the United States, he ended up building a life where he was in the UK. You know, and his partner is a wonderful person, and her family is a wonderful family. And, you know, I'm so blessed to know them. I'm glad that he found the life that he found there. But there's no denying that he only found it because he was forced out of here. And there's no denying that a large reason for that was that he was born in Zimbabwe and that his family is from Zimbabwe. From a part of Africa that should be a thriving breadbasket for the entire continent. and has been a complete and total political disaster since the moment it was turned into a colony. It's a shame, you know. Beautiful country. Or it should be. But like a lot of post-colonial countries in Africa, you know, it's a lot of mishmash of different cultures. And also, there's just the straight truth of it. When the colonial power is usurped and that power vacuum exists, who's going to take that vacuum and use it to their advantage? The most unscrupulous. And that's not exactly who you want to have as your leadership when you're building a new country. You want to have your most honorable, right? That's not how it works. Not in most post-colonial situations. And Zimbabwe is no exception to that. And I probably would not know nearly as much about Zimbabwe as I do if it weren't for the fact that I have a second family and they are from Zimbabwe. Just the same, like I probably wouldn't know as much about Uganda as I do if my neighbor across the street wasn't from Uganda. I probably wouldn't know as much about South Africa if Mama Marilyn wasn't from South Africa originally and told me about it when I was a kid, you know. They used to speak Shona around us. And when I saw her as an adult, she was like, "Do you remember any of the Shona?" And I was like, "No, sorry, I don't remember." I do remember one word, though. I know the word for butt. That's how you know I was a kid when I was exposed to Shona as a language. It's so funny to me. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to ramble about how much I love my second family a little bit here. I hope you'll indulge me, but yeah, I think we really need to be very aware of the fact that we need tourism, and letting this country become so hostile to foreign tourists is something that is going to cause us significant problems very soon, if it's not already. So, all right, family members, I will let you go. I feel bad. Haven't had any cute little animal interactions. I don't know, maybe we could find one. Are you an animal? Do you want to have an interaction? You want to have... Oh, excuse me, my goodness. I should have stopped when I was ahead. What about Casey? Do you think he wants to have an interaction? You think so? Aw. All right, family members, I hope you have a nice day. Talk to you later. Bye.